class this as a big Trent update, just saying that you've spoken to Arne Slot and that you've spoken to him pre-Euros and that you are looking forward to putting down a promising season. Committed yet non-committed words, but it really shows that the ITKs and the people who are bringing you the news about all of these things don't really know all that much, and that most of the time they're just reaching for something because they don't know. Michael Edwards, Richard Hughes are incredible at keeping people in the dark, misdirecting people, misleading people about where the transfer is going, because guess what? All of these things are techniques in negotiation. And not only when negotiating contracts, but also negotiating with clubs, you want people to think that you have a strong hand. Now, weirdly, the Trent interview in the Mirror today, it kind of goes both ways. And that picture just on Twitter in general, of the covered sections of the stand has been debunked as basically just Liverpool painting the stand above or doing some work on it and not wanting to do anything with those white chairs. Why you wouldn't cover red chairs, I don't know. But let's see. Having said that, of course it would be exciting if Trent Alexander-Arnold stayed at Liverpool and committed for another couple of years, or all it would do is kick the rumours down the road that he wanted to go to Real Madrid in the first place. Because guess what? Liverpool will want their value. It will be down to the length of the contract. A 3-year contract? Maybe Liverpool are just looking to get some value in the market. A 5-year contract? Maybe we can see that Trent Alexander-Arnold is trying to stay at Liverpool for the foreseeable future. What he did say was he was looking forward to getting back in and laying down a foundation for a good season. I think it's been a very weird summer. If you were Arne Slot coming in, you probably weren't thrilled about the fact that the Euros was on. You probably weren't thrilled about the fact there were a lot of unresolved contract issues around the club, because guess what? Michael Edwards and Richard Hughes were still very much getting their feet under the table. And though they'd spoken to players beforehand, and before getting into the actual job, it doesn't mean that they can begin any negotiations or do anything of the professional nature before they actually get in at the club. Having said that, it is reassuring that Trent Alexander-Arnold, to an extent, is doing interviews. It may also be the opposite way around. And we can just explore this. We don't have to say that we know either way. But if you saw some of the reaction on social media and you were Trent's PR team, Adidas, all those people around him going, hey, we kind of want you to be a likable character within the English game because that's when you're incredibly marketable, you would say we need to do a little bit of damage control. People were saying, Trent would be a turncoat. He would be the kind of person who would go to Real Madrid. We wouldn't love him the same as a player, though he's a hometown boy. We can't really resent him, all these kind of things. And some people were saying negative stuff. I personally think that a lot of the people who are now hanging their hats on Trent staying probably have a source closer to the actual source, if not the actual source itself. And hearing that there is a contract going for 5 years until 2029, or possibly 4 until 2028, does give me some heart. But until I see a player holding a jersey, until I see that there is a long-term commitment to the club, and even then, is the contract really worth the money that it's written on in the first place? Not really. I will not really believe it. And I don't think that you should either. But I also don't think necessarily that you should worry about these things. Trent is a world-class player. Trent is a player who will always command a high fee. But this is old, outdated thinking now about certain players. Of course, you want to sign talented, technical players. But what you want to sign is talented, technical players who fit your system. And we don't really know what system it is that Arne Slot's going to try to implement yet. He didn't have an expansive right-back at Feyenoord that he could try to play with. He might be the kind of coach that could open up an expansive right-back at any club that would make them a decent player, that would make them more than just the sum of their parts. That would be fantastic. Whether Trent stays or goes, I don't think Arne Slot's era is going to rely on that at Liverpool. Of course, it would be great to have someone who's a local scouser. I think that's a really big marketing tool, but it's also just great to have a relationship direct with the fans. Would it give people more confidence in what FSG were really doing? Yes. Does it worry people that at other places, FSG have allowed headline players to leave, say the Boston Red Sox, with Mookie Betts going to the LA Dodgers, winning things in LA, doing big things? Basically, the LA Dodgers are kind of like the Real Madrid. I mean, the Yankees are, but you get my point. They're kind of like the Real Madrid now in terms of their spending, in terms of what they're doing, being able to sign big contracts with players. Making money, keeping money is not fans' priority. Keeping players, keeping relationships, keeping emotional investment is a big part of what a lot of these clubs want to do. So judging from the outside, I would say Liverpool would be crazy to let Trent leave. But at the same time, I can't say, and I can't say that I don't think that if Trent Alexander-Arnold left Liverpool, it's like, how can I put this in the best way? Liverpool signed a coach for a reason. Liverpool have committed to this system for a reason. And it is about avoiding some of these headline stars. It is about the psychology behind that broadly for Liverpool and trying to cultivate something beyond just the Galacticos that Real Madrid have. They have some incredible players, and of course, that is a huge marketing tool for them. But therefore, just saying, if you don't have the same system as Liverpool, as Real Madrid, and you're Liverpool, and you don't have these big names and signings, that you therefore can't compete on a global level, is kind of a crazy thing. I make a point later today in a Kubo video that I will make about Liverpool do need some stars to be able to market around. They do need some faces. It just naturally with psychology, you do need that. But when Liverpool signed Mo Salah, that was not the air around the club. We write that backwards, that we signed a superstar. He was written off. He was seen as an alternative to Julian Brandt. He was seen as the second or third choice. I think on Klopp's list, he probably was the third choice. The same goes for Bobby Firmino. The same goes for a number of other players. Yes, we've signed Alisson, first choice European goalkeeper for a lot of people at the time. Who would they have loved to sign? Alisson. First choice European centre-back at the time that they would have loved to sign, as in they're available in the European market, would have been Virgil van Dijk. But City themselves went out there and signed an alternative to Virgil van Dijk because guess what? They couldn't get him in the end. Their centre-back has been just as good, just as successful. There have been so many big moments with Diaz and Van Dijk in their own teams. Van Dijk, I think, has had a more notable career because people just put him in the headlines more. Because guess what? Liverpool fans are more likely to click headlines. Go to Liverpool, be a star forever. Go to City, still be a very big profile, but it won't be the same. I would say this to someone like Trent Alexander-Arnold at this point, and I think it's an interesting point to make. It was the point that Klopp made to Coutinho when he left for Barcelona. Stay here, you'll have a statue. Go there, and you'll be a footnote or an afterthought in their history. I think genuinely players probably go to Real Madrid for the experience because it is a Galactico superstar European club with infrastructure which Liverpool can only... I don't even think Liverpool are trying to build that. I think they're trying to compete with these teams and build a culture which is different to those sides because culture is different depending on where you go, right? But go there and look at what David Beckham is in their history. He is nothing but a footnote because of the minimum amount that he won. Maybe you go there if you win 3 European Cups, whatever. I saw Gareth Bale in recent months. Didn't look like he was particularly... Obviously, he had an affinity to Real Madrid, but it didn't look like he was particularly emotionally connected. Obviously, for the rest of your life, you're a global superstar. But there are different levels of superstar and different types of fame. Just going for the biggest fame, just going for the most followers on Instagram, doesn't always mean that you have the happiest life. The creativity that Trent Alexander-Arnold possesses is an interesting part of what he is as a person and as a character. And I wonder if that motivates him to stay at Liverpool and to try to be an all-time legend. And whether, we will find out in these coming weeks, when he returns back to the camp, when he plays, all these kind of things, whether he is one profile of person or another profile. And whether he wants to be an all-time Liverpool legend or whether he wants to be an all-time footballing profile player. Those two things are very different. I'd be interested to know what you guys think in the comments below. Let me know where you think this one goes. Do you think those numbers in the stand are associated and connected to him or not? Do you think we're just conspiracy theorists at this point, which I think that we kind of are? I'd be interested to know your thoughts. I think Liverpool have been left with a lot to do by the previous era, by the previous administration. Because that administration was on the out, because people wanted to see where the club moved, because they wouldn't commit before they saw the club were going to move. And now they've seen, we've heard some of Trent's words, but are they just plays for Liverpool to get more money in the market? Let me know in the comments below. I'll be interested to see what you guys think. I thought this was an interesting thought exercise to go through. Patreon's down there. Discord is down there. I will chat to you guys again on this channel later today. Much love.